As y'all can see my hat today, man, it is by Into the AM. You know, we had to go with that smooth, sleek look. This low key, like, this your look right here.
I know.
This is your look, bro.
I know.
This is your look, bro.
It's a good hat, man. I've worn it multiple times.
I will say this, man. It is very comfy. It's very breathable, too. You can see the mesh on the backside of it, man. Keeps the hat nice and smooth. But more importantly, we got promo codes, ladies and gentlemen. So if you use the promo code MOATS10, all right, MOATS with the number 10, you will receive 10% off of your purchases at Into the AM. Website is right there, intotheam.com. But man, it's awesome, man. The graphic tees they have, the basic t-shirts that they have. Obviously, me and Deke always talk about our contrast and style. I'm more of the graphic t-shirt guy. Deke's more the basic t-shirt guy.
Yep.
But the beauty with Into the AM is they have packages where you can get monthly subscriptions where they send you their freshest, newest color schemes, whether you want the basics or if you want the graphics, all for really nice pricing. And like I said, you can use that promo code that's right there on the screen to add to the pricing discount with that as well. So big time shout out to the homies at Into the AM. But offensively, we had the same things happening, right? Inconsistent play with the O-line. I mean, we see times where, right, we see some time where it looked like Ben got time, other times where he's flustered. As soon as he turns around, he's getting hit. We saw, I mean, I felt like that happened on the fumble when he fakes the dive, fumble, fakes the boot. I mean, fakes the dive, fakes the reverse,
we'll
turn around, and the dude's like right on him, bro.
Some of these play calls were just atrocious.
Well, that's why I want to start with the offense, because we definitely going to get that.
Atrocity.
When we say it was a full group, it was a full group effort today. Or yesterday. It definitely was, man. It definitely was. But like I said, to me, man, starting out O-line, and it's hard to even say they took a step back. That's the frustrating part. Because
Najee got some yards in the second half.
Right.
Well, I mean, they're in some type of prevent.
No, they were in a high, they were playing a too high look. They were going to make you have to run the ball. And at times, like I said, we struggled at times to run with the lighter box where we had the numbers, but I did like what I did see from Najee. Like I said, the O-line, I thought they were very inconsistent, especially pass pro. I thought running wise, it was more perimeter in the sense of on some of those, like the 4th and 1, the pitch play, some of those type of, no, but just hear me out. I don't necessarily hate the call. I hate the execution of Ray and Chase Claypool blocking their guys on the edge, because neither one of them did. And that was ultimately why that play went so flat and Najee could never turn it up. And you saw Chooks pulling around. He can never get north and south because they get destroyed at the point. So for me, that's where you miss Juju, though, because Juju is the guy that would be on that point. And now instead of Ray being on the outside, it would be Chase Claypool on the outside, a bigger body. So you got Juju, who's extremely physical, sitting that edge, and then you got Chase, who's just a bigger body, who's going to get the cleanup. Now you got Chooks the time to get around. What happened yesterday? You got Chase get popped in the mouth. Ray falls, trips over Chase, and now from there, Chooks, he ain't gonna never be able to get his shoulders north and south, and you got Najee just running directly to the sideline. To me, it's like, I don't mind the call, but if you know your personnel isn't what it needs to be, that's where you got to make your changes. You feel me? And that was the part where I looked at that, and a lot of those toss cracks, those outside runs that we were trying to accomplish, it was just like, bro, our perimeter guys aren't blocking like that they need to. So that's never going to work for you. Now, I did think that at times when Najee was hitting it inside and bouncing it outside, I like those runs a lot better. But once again, that's when they're playing that too high look. And we're not getting that look on some of these short yardage running situations. So to me, that was the part where I'm looking at Cannon. I'm saying, man, I don't mind the call. But if you know that these guys can't do that, Ray McLeod, he's never been a blocker. He's a small guy anyways. That'd be like having Deontay trying to block somebody at the point. If you're backside, you can get away with it. Just getting his way, making him run around you. Point of attack, that guy's running through him. And that's where you can't do those type of things, man.
So with Najee, well, with that play, you heard Romo talk about it on the broadcast, saying like, oh, Ingram, he had some in his back pocket. He knew this was coming because he was on the Steelers. So you don't buy that at all? It was just more bad execution on our part?
But this is the thing, though. Ingram could know the play. I could know the play and not have to be in the huddle. It's just you're playing the percentages. You know when it's 3rd and short or 4th and short, you're either going to get something going A gaps or you're getting something hitting the perimeter. It's one or the other. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to deal with a lot of reverses. Every once you get the jet sweep in that moment, but without the backside motion, you don't have to worry about the jet sweep. So process of elimination, if I have a bunch here and it's a tight bunch, you saw where they were lined at, right?
Yeah.
They were right next to the tackle. That gives me information. And that's what we talk about film stuff. That's what we talk about, just like all right, if you're watching tape, anticipation. I don't have to be in the huddle with you to know these are what I could get out of this. That's some of the things like when I was getting on Devin earlier in the year, and I was like, man, it's not necessarily about athletic ability. Sometimes just watching film and you just know tendencies. Like, yo, they're going to run this style of play or it's going to be this style of play. For Ingram, that's all that was. I don't think it was anything crazy, but obviously because it's Ingram, it's more fun to make that comment. But to me, it was
he actually played pretty good.
Yeah, but to me, it was just, okay, toss crack. And on toss crack, what do you got to do? You got to fight pressure. And the rule as an outside linebacker, we say there is zero chance that a tight end or a wide receiver can ever block you on the perimeter. Not even about talent or size. It's just a mindset. So if I see a receiver, I'm thinking in my mind, this is the utmost disrespect. I might spit in your face while I throw you down. Like, that has to be the mindset. And you watch Ingram. What does he play like? He's pissed off if you blocking with a receiver, blocking with a tight end. That's how it's supposed to be. And that's what we say, like, when we don't have Highsmith and Teach out there, at times we see where linebackers are getting blocked by tight ends and receivers. And you're like, bro, that should never happen, ever. So for Ingram, when I saw that, it was just like, man, yeah. You try to block him with a receiver you try to block him with a receiver that's not really about that blocking life. It's gonna look like that, man.
You could tell me if I'm wrong on this one too, but I didn't think Najee did himself any favors, and maybe around the first 2, 3, 4 series, felt like he was dancing around a little bit. But then he had that one big run for 20 yards where it started to change his running style. And then he started to
run physical again.
Yeah. Yep. But we've been seeing that a little bit over the past 2 or 3 weeks. Maybe that was just more of a wake-up call for him. Like, bro, like I need to start hitting these holes because we could be gaining like 3 or 4 more yards if you just run strong.
But that was kind of...
but that's what I felt like he ran the rest of the game, though, at least.
Well, to me, that the first half reminded me of not his last year at Alabama, the year before that, where he was doing a little bit more of the dancing stuff. And that was kind of the knock on him. You're like, you're a big back. You need to run big. You're not going to dance around guys. You're not going to outrun guys. And that was one of the things that Nick Saban was very documented going into his final year there that they talked about. And that was the biggest difference for him going into that last season at Alabama.
Because he still has that. I mean, you see some of the juice. Absolutely. He jumped over that dude, but sometimes it is a little too much.
It's like, yo, you're getting too enamored with trying to shake instead of just being a big, powerful back. And for me, I thought that in the second half, like you said, after that 20-yard run or whatever, when he bounced that thing,
he just went straight.
Yeah, from there he started doing less wiggling, more physical running. Even the stiff arms at the ends of some of these runs, you would see that. To me, when he's playing like that, that allows him to juke more. That allows him to jump over guys. But it has to be the physicality first that sets up that agility. It can't be Najee wants to be the scat bag agile guy first and then surprise you with power, because that's not going to be his best performance. But for him, man, he's still young, and that's the thing. It was like he was able to make that adjustment right on the fly and was good to go. Sometimes, I mean, we get pissed because we're like, can we make adjustments like for the team? You know what I mean? Like that. But shout out to Najee for at least being able to do that.
What do you think went through his head on that? What is someone saying that to him on the sideline? Is that the running backs coach? Is that him looking at something saying like, yo,
mix,
I'm
honestly,
off?
It could be a mix of everything. At times, as players, you feel it yourself. You know, you'll be out there and you're like, you know what, bro, I'm doing way too much of this. I got to get back to this. I'm way too much speed rush. Let me get back to this power. All right, man, I'm too hesitant right now. Let me just shoot my gun. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you could feel it and you can make that adjustment. And a lot of guys, like at this level, we're so in tune with our bodies and our mind because we've been doing this for so long that we know it. But other times you're kind of blinded by a situation where you're just so focused on, I got to get this part right, that you might not see that you're hurting other parts. And that's where your position coach comes in. That's where a guy like Eddie Faulkner potentially might have been to him like, yo, Najee, get back to running big. Yo, hurt him.
Or even Ben, you know what I mean? Something like that. Yeah.
Just be physical, bro. Like make them have to tackle you, because that's the thing. Like you let a defender off the hook when you're a big back like Najee, but you're trying to juke and now you're falling backwards. Now you're falling sideways. That doesn't hurt me as bad. If I'm a small DB, I can do that for 4 quarters. Whereas if you're pounding me and even though I'm tackling you, I'm falling back. I mean, we've seen how them games are for us at times where it's like, bro, we tackle him, but I don't think we really want to tackle this dude anymore. And then what happens? They'll hit a big run. That's the part where you're like, for Najee, you're like, nah, that's what you're capable of. When you run like that, man, they don't want to keep tackling you for 4 quarters. I can assure you of that. I can assure you of it. But that's the one of the things that as a younger player, you just got to keep understanding that, keep growing with it and keep learning. And I don't always fault him either, Because when you're playing behind the O-line that is currently constructed and how inconsistent it can be.
Yeah, I'm sure that can make you a head case.
Sometimes you're like, okay, do I need to be more elusive to get out the way right now and then get going? Or do I actually have time to hit this hole and make my reads and my progressions? Right now, there's no consistency, or it's not consistent enough. So if you're Najee, how can you determine if this play you should hit at full speed and this play you need to juke a guy, that's about to come through free? You just don't know.